ready. Start this meeting.
They got it for 10
Call
years.
this meeting to order. Commissioner Mason, would you like to do the invocation?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together this day to do the work of the Housing Authority of the City of Sarasota, which is your work. We ask for your guidance as we deliberate the issues that come before us. We ask your blessings on all that's in attendance, including the board members. In your name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we now have pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Taylor is here. Vice Chair Coleman, not here. Commissioner Merritt.
Here.
Commissioner Finger.
Here.
Commissioner Mason.
Here.
Commissioner Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Roman.
Here.
City Commissioner Jen Calhoun Koch.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, I ask for a motion to approval of the minutes from the December the 11th.
Make the motion.
Yep, Commissioner.
I just want to say for the record, I have one non-substantive change.
Excuse me?
I just want to say for the record, I have one non-substantive change.
Okay. And so I will
It's fine. She's gonna
say, okay.
turn it in.
Okay, I ask again for the motion for the approval of the board meeting on December the 11th. Do you have a second? Second. Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All, no, any nays? Approval of the agenda for this meeting?
Yeah, present, please.
Okay, there was 6 out of 7.
Commissioner Mason didn't attend.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Mason
You have to
was at
vote
the
present
December
because you
11th.
didn't attend for the minutes.
Whatever. Whatever you say.
Okay,
Would you vote present, please, ma'am?
Present.
okay. Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion for approval of the agenda, today's agenda? A second?
The agenda, accepted.
Motion was? I didn't see it.
Approve the agenda for today's meeting.
Thank you.
Me. Second?
Go ahead.
Anyone against? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, special presentation. Update from the city commissioner?
I really have no updates. I did have some input from Mr. Russell about some fees for Luffs on Lemon and spoke to the city manager, and he feels very strongly that it would be best if you would present that to the city commission and let that be a city commission discussion. So I would recommend you just introduce it at the next meeting during public comment, and then at the end we can talk about it.
Did anyone from the city manager's office reach out to you about putting me on the agenda?
You can just speak under public comment.
No, I know, but I had talked to the city manager about making a presentation to the city commission on the agenda.
No, I just scheduled you for property tour with
Okay.
the new commissioner.
Because I know the board had wanted me to update the city commission once or twice a year, so I wanted to do a presentation to the commission. And
Do you want me to add that to the February 18th agenda if I can?
if you would.
Okay. Just a presentation and update?
Yeah, he said, can you do it in 7 minutes? I said, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that right now.
What's the date?
February 18th. I'll ask for February 18th. We still have time for that agenda.
Are you in town?
Yep.
But you will come present at the next meeting on the topic of the fees. Or do you want to wait until the 18th?
When is the next meeting?
The 3rd,
4th?
Monday.
3rd? I actually have a meeting in Tampa with Rick on the Monday.
So save it all for the 18th?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look at the city
We're also now being told we can't take those parking spaces at all. So that's another issue.
Okay, let's get you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public presentation, first one is Valerie Bouchard, please.
Good afternoon. Ain't good to everybody, huh? Just a few. I'm before you today to address the comment that Mr. Russell wrote in the PA plan that gonna go to HUD, and I want it to be noted that I've never represented in hostility. I didn't bring a hostile workplace here. It was all the housing authority brought a hostile workplace here because I feel strongly about the residents that I represent. That don't mean that I'm hostile. I stand firm, and when I come to you with the truth, it's the truth, whether it's liked or not. And I did speak with Mr. Russell on that the other day. So that's a lie. I actually want to write a letter and send it to the people that y'all sending this report to, giving them, our thoughts on what's happening, because that is not true. That is not true, and Mr. Russell know that's not true. The next thing I want to address is the fact that Mr. James, that have constantly came to this meeting, Amaryllis Park, say they have a unit over there, a PVB unit that he can get, but he have to be on the housing authority list, and he's not on that list. But he's put in the application, and actually, when his friend put in the application and got the apartment, he applied then. He applied also, but conveniently they can't find his application. So, and I see you have on the agenda about the parking garage. Again, residents over here is not in favor of a parking garage over here, and we have not been in conversation about it. We've been told at this board meeting that it was going to happen. So again, the residents are continue to be ignored when it comes down to where they live at. And in our workshop the other day, the lady made it clear that residents are stakeholders. And so, all these decisions continue to be made without their input that's going to be for real. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing that. Next person is Mary Ann Dean, please. Ms. Dean, come forward, Ms. Dean.
My problem is thefts coming in. People are coming in the back door. Apparently it's not locked at night anymore. And the front door, it breaks and it's wide open. There's no guard. During Christmas time, we had a lot of thefts. I just had a plant, but it's a plant, and somebody was outside my door and took it. People were walking through. We don't know who they are, and they're coming through with boxes and stuff, and we don't know if they even belong here or they're a guest or who they are. But there are a lot of people around here that are coming in and out, and we just don't like it. And I live in the towers, so we have that little alcove. People put plants and things in there, and they had a contest for Christmas, but people will, if they're going to come steal stuff. I know someone had an Amazon package that was $500 that he ordered from there, and it was gone. It's just people are wandering around, the doors open, and there's really, security is really, no, the fences are all still broken. And I know that the Salvation Army doesn't let the homeless spend the night there anymore on a night-by-night basis, and they're wandering around. So it's not safe, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and sorry about,
My little plant, but it's other stuff too. People have had chairs taken, and like I said, Amazon packages. They just wander and take them. Now, I haven't personally seen that. You hear a lot about stuff here, word of mouth, and it really changes within about 3 people, but we don't know the truth, and I know mine was gone and theirs gone.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention, and it will be addressed, you will get addressed in writing for both of you, and it'll also go into the next board packet.
And the back door is really, it's open all the time now, and people are, I guess the construction workers are allowed to come in to the building, yeah. And I did talk to one of the maintenance men. I said, how's that door open? He goes, that's for them, the construction workers, but they're not part of us, are they?
Oh, so we do have a construction crew.
Back?
Yeah, working on the annex building. So they have to come in the building. They're doing AC work in the units. They're putting in AC fans to transfer air from the living room to the bedroom. So our contractors are allowed in the building, and they are working back there, but the contractors building the condos behind us are not to be coming into the building.
Okay.
So you may not know who's who, but we do have contractors working in the back building.
All right. But the door is the thing that's not being locked at night.
I stayed on site. I live on that floor. It don't lock. It don't be locked at night. You take the stick out and the door is open. Also, what we do
I just wanted to ask you to clarify which door you're talking about is open. Which door is open?
Do what?
Which door is
The back door that got in the annex, so when the fire the staff.
That door over near the annex that
Right.
goes into the annex, that's the one you say is open.
Open. And then the front door breaks here all the time, and
One up here.
here, and the guard leaves at midnight, so nobody is guarding anything. Who's wandering? Thank you.
All right, are we going to the resolutions, accepted by consent? Okay, we have resolution 2501, approval of annual plan, 5-year action plan. 2502, significant amendment to CFP budget. 2503, write-off approval. 2504, approval of cultural guide revisions. 2505, approval of lease and property office space. Does anyone need to be pulled? Do we have a motion? Do we have?
Let's see. Can we just pull 2505?
You want to discuss?
The office space, yeah, I just want to understand.
Okay, so we can go, is there any questions about any of the, so we can move for approval? Can I have a motion to approve?
So
the 21, 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Second?
You said second? Second. Anyone is, against? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, now we open, resolution 2505, approval for lease of property office space is up for discussion.
So I might have just been a little confused on that, because when I was reading through, are we purchasing new office space? Are we purchasing new property there? And then we're leasing it?
I'm proposing to purchase another office building in the same complex that we're in right now.
Contiguous with the parking.
Yeah, shares the same parking lot as the building we're in now. I haven't figured out exactly who will move over and how many people will move over. I think it's likely that we will be able to lease out the second level. It's set up so that you can have a private entry and go up the stairs, and there's like a full apartment upstairs.
Okay. That's why I was a little confused, because I saw that floor plan, and then I noticed it was residential.
Yeah.
So we're having offices on the first
They were
level.
all designed as live-work units.
Okay.
So initially, we'll probably just have offices on the first floor, but the upstairs, I'm trying to think of how many office space there were. There were like,
3 or 4.
yeah,
One could
we
be
were gonna
converted.
subdivide one room, so I think there's like 5 more office spaces upstairs. So
Which one is it? I know it's not the salon.
it's the pink one.
Okay.
Not to be negative. Is it right across the parking lot?
But I can't help
It's in the
myself.
parking lot.
It's in the parking.
I knew Carolyn was gonna say something. How'd that work out for us last time?
But
Leasing it out to derive revenue from it.
it worked great.
No, it didn't. The guys left. The 2 psychologists.
That was good because we needed their space.
If we needed
They
their
could have
space-
renewed. They could have renewed the lease for like 12 more years.
Yeah, but if we needed their space, then we shouldn't have bought the building.
Anyway, so
The whole point of buying the building was to have the revenue from the renters who were there to help pay for it.
That wasn't my impression.
Oh,
Okay, but I think we're-
The report of buying the building was to house our staff and provide
Right.
adequate.
So then
Okay.
why did we buy a
Office
building that
space.
was
well, I
already
think right now
occupied?
we're trying to figure out, we have a resolution for a new space that we're talking about. I think we're bringing up old business on that. Just because I had a couple of questions, I was in the middle of a conversation. Sorry.
Excuse me? Okay. I'm suitably chastised.
Then we start ranting on the old one.
I noticed our attorney ain't saying anything. Come on, protect me, man.
Okay, so the intent is to have office space on the first floor and then lease the upper level. And then you've done good due diligence as far as that was market value. Right?
Yes.
We're spending
We have not
$1,000,000 on it.
inspected the property. We have like 45 days to do due diligence on it, so we will have it inspected. Obviously, the survey and all that good stuff, but the inspection's the main thing, and your approval, of course. So.
And then that's in range of the market value in that area.
Yeah, it was appraised for 1.1,
Oh, is it?
so we're getting it for less than it was appraised for.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just wanted to understand. I know we're bringing that up at our next board meeting, but I wanted to understand that a little bit more. So,
Can I get a serious question?
yes, I'm done.
Semi-serious. Now you made me forget what it was. In all seriousness, what was the original asking price for the property?
It was technically not on the market. She's been marketing it. It's been on the market before.
She couldn't
But
sell it
her
for the price she
offices,
wanted.
her offices are there.
Yeah.
She has a law practice, and so her offices are still there. She's there every day. She's been trying to lease the upstairs out, and she even told us, she's like, I'm not willing to budge on the rent. And so that is what it is. So she hasn't leased it to anybody. And now she can't lease it because we told her she can't lease it without our consent. So
But she's not willing to budge on the rent.
she wasn't. Yes.
So let me ask another question. Is she going to stay there with her law offices after we take ownership? Okay.
She's had a few deals fall through before. So we agreed to do a 30-day lease back for like $2,500 because she's like, once we close, then I am going to get my stuff out, but I need 30 days to get out.
That's fine.
I think it's a good look. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm done enough for you to interrupt me.
I think it's a great, if we need to expand, it sounds like we need the office space, so I think it's a good opportunity since it's right in our parking lot.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it's a good opportunity because we'll get the extra parking spaces, number one. And number two, it won't be a long
we use them
walk
anyways,
for
do we?
William or his staff to go next door.
Right.
No, I mean, we should keep our eyes peeled, for any of those that pop up, so we can kind of keep a contiguous area.
Yeah, so with that, I'm fine, approving, putting a motion to approve.
One other thing. What budget are we buying this out of? Under whose auspices? It's going to be out of Housing Authority, or is it going to be out of one of the other entities we have?
So SHFC, which we'll meet right after this, they'll be the purchaser and the owner of it.
And then they'll pay us back lease money.
So I'm proposing that the housing authority will loan some funds to the nonprofit to buy it, but then SHFC will have to pay the housing authority back. And then I was also gonna structure, again, like I did on the first purchase, where Section 8 leases some or all of the second floor of the existing building, and they prepay that lease with admin fee reserves, so we can use that to put that down towards the purchase.
Yeah, I remember that was a big idea for Dwayne last time. You think I forget these things? I don't forget money.
I remember that.
I remember too.
Okay, can we move for a motion to approve?
I'll put a motion to approve,
Second.
resolution
Second.
2505.
Anyone against? Anyone against? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Commissioner Finger was the second.
Okay, moving on to old business. Resident Advisory Board, Resident Council draft budget.
Do we have?
That's Bashan, I think.
What I need to say? I mean,
Well, I let you know the board had questions from the last meeting that you were not at, so
okay.
they wanted to get more detail about professional services and outreach activities in the budget.
I'm just not gonna let y'all torment me, but I will answer a couple of questions. Professional development is like we got I got an email the other day about development conference that was going on in training, stuff like that. We never know what will come up, so I can't give specifics, just like you do in the budget that you make for the housing authority. You put monies under items, and until the actuals are there or they show themselves, then y'all put a name to it. So that's what we've done. Outreach, we're reaching out to other residents on other properties, so that we will be able to come together and do things. Communication, that's what that's all about.
You don't use email. For communication, I meant.
Not when we don't have their emails. So, do flyers and stuff. Just like y'all meet in person, we want to meet in person. So we have to do things so we can bring them together.
So you're going to keep lists of their emails when they meet in person?
I don't know.
Everybody has.
I don't know.
Difficult to get assistance if you don't have email. They only want to send Social Security or SSI through email now. I mean through direct deposit. Just figured I'd ask.
So, I mean, I guess my question still is on the professional services, like, do you have an idea? I mean, you have a number behind
I
it.
just gave you an example. We're in, I think they were out of California, that they sent, and they was talking about, workshops and stuff like that, learning for leaders and stuff like that.
Okay.
Stuff like that. We never know, so I can't put a name to it. We just simply don't know.
So that's like professional development.
Yeah.
On that side.
Yeah.
Professional development is a very broad term. I think
Yeah.
you might have to be a little more specific.
Well,
Well, I
were
can't.
there any, regarding what more?
Tell me what you don't want, and maybe we can go that route. Because y'all asking me something that I can't give y'all the answer to.
Okay. Well, I say we just remove that line item. then.
Well, no,
Okay.
yeah, okay, so,
Well, I mean, wait a minute. First of all, y'all giving us $23,000, I think, if I'm correct. Because the $7,000 come directly from HUD for, for resident participation. So the housing authority is giving us $23,825. Y'all not even giving us $30,000. First of all, and so Mr. Cologne, I remember asking, well, how are you gonna do fundraisers and stuff like that? So whatever we do with monies that we raise won't have nothing to do with your dollars, because we have to give an account for those dollars that HUD give us. So a percentage come from HCV and all this. I forgot to bring that email that Miss Andrea alluded us to. So we are very well aware of what we can do and what we can't do. We're not dumb.
I never said you.
And so the $23,800 and some odd dollars that the housing authority proposed to give us, we will have a handle on that. The $7,000, I think that's for tenant participation. That comes automatically from the $25 for each apartment. Okay.
Excuse me, point of information. Is that automatic pass through? Or does it run through us?
Technically, no, it runs through us, but the regulation does call for us to provide $15 per unit, not 25, but
Correct.
$15 per unit to the resident council. So the total for that would be $3,705.
Y'all voted to give us the $25.
So if
I
we're
know, but
giving you that-
I want to clarify.
Okay.
Because I want you
Yes.
to understand the
Oh,
story.
I understand. I
Well,
stayed
you
here
said
for
it was
many years.
$7,000 was
No.
not coming from us.
Yeah.
No, it's coming from the $25
Yeah, but
comes
that's
from
not-
the house. I'm not gonna argue with you, John,
No,
but
I'm not gonna
Mr.
argue.
Russell,
I'm gonna state facts
he
and numbers.
understand what I'm saying, because it comes from HUD
No,
per unit.
no.
It comes to y'all, and y'all give it to us. Is that right? Is that right?
It is right.
Okay, so y'all was giving us $15 of the $25,
Right.
correct?
Which is all we had to do.
Right. It's all you had to do. Y'all voted when because Dwayne said, he originally said give them $50 and give them the $25, give us $50 for a stipend and $25 a unit. Well, that was disgraceful. So what we got in the budget is you put it to $150 because we had $200 because that's what HUD allows us to have. Okay, so we got it down to $150. So the money for the stipends and other things that we did, it came from HUD. Now, with that being said, when we had our Easter dinners, when we had our Thanksgiving dinners, when we had functions over here, anything that we asked the housing authority to provide, they provided. However, we had a vending machine that you had, and we got money from those dollars to help provide what we had. Because originally that was supposed to be 60-40. We never saw a dime of that money. However, we didn't have a problem when we asked you for something. Okay? So, I mean, I recall all of it. And when the board agreed to give us the $30,000, which only 20-something thousand coming from the housing authority, You know, all of this stuff was in there, and that's not including the vending machine that you notified me that y'all got working, and I just been leery on that because you said they wasn't no good. We just don't want to get caught up in the work for a month, and then it'll be on us. You understand? So I'm not trying to play no games here. I mean, I'm sharing what happened, what is truthful.
I think that we.
Okay, can I just clarify?
Sure.
I think this is very important. We get subsidies from HUD, and the regulations require us to provide $15 for every occupied public housing and RAD unit. So, yes, it's coming.
Can I have one of these?
Yeah, it's coming from HUD, and we are required to provide the resident council with $3,705 for their budget. Okay, so if you subtract 30,000, if you subtract 3,705 from 30,000, the housing authority is voluntarily providing the resident council with an additional $26,295. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that. The $200 Valerie's referencing is the regulatory limit. It's allowable, and that's the limit of the stipends. We could pay them $500 in stipends, but $300 of that would count towards their income. They'd have to pay more rent on that, theoretically. So HUD has always limited stipends to $200 for residents who perform duties on the property or who serve on the resident council. That's not the floor, it's the ceiling. And they are allowed to pay themselves up to $200, but it's obviously dependent upon the budget. Up until now, they haven't been able to afford to pay themselves $200 a month, so it's been like $80 a month. So I just wanted to clarify those two things.
I had something.
Am I done?
Maybe clarify. If you change the terminology for professional services and development to training and professional development, meaning that you could that's to train the staff and the people who work for the tenant residents, the ones who are working. I thought the idea was to help them develop better skills and professional abilities, and therefore you could use that money to hire consultants to do the training. Is that what you're thinking about in terms of the training for the staff? Is that the professional development?
I don't have no thought. All I know is if more residents are
And other
trained
residents as
and know
well.
their rights,
Right.
they will be able better to serve themselves. And maybe I can get some relief. Now, what that look like, I have not a clue.
So the thing I'm getting at is that that's different from the original idea, which was they were going to hire a lawyer possibly to do, to defend this or that or whatever. The idea now is that it's being set up as funding to help train residents. And so maybe it would be easier for the board to accept
I'm fine with
that
that.
as the $5,000 could go towards training and professional development of residents. You don't have to say who's going to do the training. That's to be developed over the next year by the tenant council. Is that something that we could?
We just stipulate it can't be used for.
Legal services.
I have a question.
So we need
I
that.
think
We
the
can raise our
problem
own money.
is
Yes,
the
yeah.
way it's labeled.
That's what I'm
Professional
saying.
services
That's right.
and development.
And then there's
They
the no.
should be split.
Okay, that's another idea, yeah.
You know,
line
because,
item, do
because
professional
then
services
the
and then
note,
development,
the
2,500
asterisk
each.
at the bottom says professional services and
Then
development.
it says legal.
Legal, and so that,
Yeah, that caveat
I mean,
probably should be in
and,
there.
on the other boards I've been a part of, those are separate items,
Line
professional services and then professional development or development and training.
However, I'm on a lot of boards like you, Carol, and you might be on more.
Not anymore.
That's because you came to your senses.
And you,
I'm still
Still
the denial is not just a river. So, yeah, to me, it has always been separated on boards, but we never allowed money to be utilized to hire professional services that we already have. That would be a total duplication of services and waste of money. Now, if they want to go out and raise their own money and hire somebody for that, we can't tell them what to do.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Right, but you know, and you're so right, but y'all attorney don't represent us.
Excuse me?
Y'all attorney don't represent us.
Do you call the attorney for advice?
He ain't gonna represent us.
I didn't ask that question. The
Not
question
no
I
more.
asked- Oh, you stopped calling them?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
call him no more.
Because
He
I know that,
represent
you know-
Russell now.
Okay.
So if
Commissioner Morgan?
everybody is objecting to the legal services,
So-
let's take that out.
So here's the thing is, my feeling is this is our biggest hangup, and you wanted to get some funds to moving forward. So why don't we just literally take that out of the budget? And then we
What?
can move forward.
Take
The
legal
$5,000.
out.
Oh, I mean, y'all already just giving us a little bit. I mean, if y'all want me to hire an attorney, which money I want, I hadn't planned on it anyway.
No, my point is, like, this is so contentious, and you're fighting and arguing, like, but we're missing all the other stuff,
Yeah.
and I want you to move forward. And so we can sit here and argue for
Yeah.
another 3 or 4 meetings, or
David,
you can go ahead and start moving forward.
David, whatever you want, babe, because I am not arguing with y'all this year.
Okay.
Because I just think y'all want to hold us back, and all we doing is moving forward with our rights, and y'all don't seem to want us to do that. But I clearly understood from the first day. I clearly understood, so ain't no problem. Do what you want.
It appears to me from what Mr. Russell said that we're giving you $23,000 or whatever. $26,000 more. So when you say we're not helping, I think we are, considering we're giving $26,000. That's, I don't know, I think that's a pretty good amount of money.
Do what you want.
I could use it.
I mean, would the board agree to disclude like services, just call it professional development, and then stick with like her training, community outreach, you know, communication stuff that helps
Yeah.
develop
Okay.
their
I
board,
agree with that.
and put the caveat, it
That's
cannot
what
be
I'm
used,
suggesting.
you know,
Okay.
for any type of legal services.
But I think in that case, since we're not doing, you cut it in half to 25. Unless we think $5,000 each.
So how do we move forward? Do we
And
propose
they're doing,
that?
they're also going, yeah, so, anyways, I guess somebody put a motion on the table.
Okay, so we want to put a motion on the table to say, who wants to carry motion? Make the motion.
Okay, put a motion on the table to accept the budget with the change. We move professional services and development to training and professional development and reduce from 5,000 to 2,500.
Second.
Okay, second. All against? Anyone against?
Attorney Gilmore, how's that sound?
I
You got no
hear
sound, you're on
No
mute.
sound.
You gotta yell.
Chad, I think that sounds great. I think it summarized the discussion very well.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, anyone against? Or
Did we get a second?
you didn't get a second?
I second.
Second. Okay.
John?
Dwayne can second it, I don't care.
All agree? All, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, next is development updates, redevelopment report.
Well, Looks like we're gonna,
Our developer's not on, so,
Okay.
Well, I noticed you concluded that report in there too.
Yeah.
There's some dates in there. So
I
that-
did want to
that's
get
helpful.
feedback on that.
Yeah.
I prompted them pretty hard to get that
Yeah, I think that was well done.
Yeah. I saw
put
those
together for you.
changes too.
So
It
does
was
that,
just
is that kind of what
short,
you're looking
concise,
for?
And yeah, I gave some good information on it.
Okay.
Some target dates.
So that kind of updates where everything is right now, but we're starting to look at pricing. So the county is gonna get, I think they're estimated to get 201 million in CDBG DR money for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 storms. So not clear yet how much of that would go for affordable housing. I think the hope is like half of that would go for affordable housing.
I'd say more like less than a third.
And what was I gonna say? So last time around, a lot of the damage from the hurricane that they got the last bucket of DR money for was really South County.
Yeah.
But this time it's not. And so I think the county has acknowledged that more of that money is able to come to, North and Central County as well. So, anyway, we'll see how that goes.
Do you know
But-
the schedule on that property?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to say. So HUD wants the county to submit an action plan within 90 days, which as of today is like 85 days from now. It's super aggressive, but I think they're gonna shoot for that, is my understanding. So I don't know if that means the county commission is gonna vote on projects that fast. I can't imagine they would, but
They won't.
They might.
You know, I know just prior, you just had to put kind of your plan and your thoughts together.
yeah, no,
And I know they're doing a workshop, I think.
yeah, I'm working to do that. So anyway,
That's
we'll
coming.
we'll probably submit for McCown since we didn't get funded by Florida Housing, and then we'll see. We'll like it. And I'm also trying to find out if we can use any of the money for rehab, because if we can, I'd like to do some additional work on the annex to help harden that and preserve it. So I already have a query in to the county to ask, is it only for new construction, or could it also be for rehab? So,
Why don't you call it hurricane hardening?
yeah. It
I
would
don't
be.
think
Hey.
I think they'd want to do
No.
that. That was a major problem. A lot of structures that weren't up to code
Right.
that damaged. So makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, the McCown Tower garage application we were like the next deal, we're like the first deal that's not in the funding, so it doesn't look like we're gonna get any money out of that round.
And who's that come from, Florida Housing?
Yeah. So, so that gives us more time to discuss, plans with the residents, talk to the city about potentially doing some different zoning arrangements so we can do more than 96 units. So, back to the drawing board on that.
How many floors do we plan on doing? 5?
I think it was 7 or 8.
Yeah, but 2 of them are parking decks.
Yeah, 2 or 3,
So
maybe 3.
I'm talking about, so now we're only talking about 5 again, for residential.
We're just
I
gonna
mean,
wait for funding.
we're
right?
back to
Ground zero.
ground zero.
We're gonna wait.
So we can do it, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't think the plan's totally nixed though. If we can get funding to fund, obviously, we might make some modifications to it, but I would think that we don't have to scrap it totally if we can find funding.
I asked a question. What about, how much money was the city gonna put in for the parking spaces? And where was
They-
that money coming from?
They have not,
weren't-
they have not committed
They
any.
never committed to
No.
anything. So the whole art.
I had a discussion with them about it,
Yeah.
and had we been funded, I mean, I did tell them we'd have a number of months to kind of figure out a real commitment from them. Because if we didn't, then we weren't going to build as much parking, obviously. So,
Right.
so we can continue those
Is there still
discussions.
a
as well.
pressure to try to fill parking, to provide some additional parking?
I think the pressure is more from this neighborhood, because there isn't much parking in Rosemary that wasn't planned. So I know the previous city manager was very interested in talking to us about providing parking here. And then certainly even if the Performing Arts Center doesn't happen, this neighborhood is running short on parking. But if they do a Performing Arts Center, they're absolutely going to need more parking. So we'll see.
So a lot of that's up in the air still. Okay.
I do want to say, the city, if you go to their website, the homepage of the city of Sarasota, there is a survey. So I encourage all of you to go on and complete it. It takes only a few minutes. And the first thing it asks you about, how strongly you feel about, is affordable housing. So
I hate it.
So please.
Is it all for Sarasota residents? Or?
No, it's for people who come to the city for leisure. It's for
Workforce.
people who work here. It's for people who live here.
I want workforce housing.
So please fill it out, register how important it is to you, and encourage other people to fill it out too.
I didn't hear about it, so did they put it in the paper or anything?
And honestly,
I signed up for their emails and I got it.
Oh, yeah, on the email, but I'm not signed up for the email.
I mean, it's literally like
I probably did sign up. They
it's
probably lost mine.
very prominent on their website right now.
Okay.
Mr. Koch took me off the mailing list.
Smart.
But I also feel like, and I haven't talked to the city about this, but I would hope that, and I don't know when they'll have the results, but I would hope that if affordable housing does come out to be a top priority of the people who fill it out, that would also be shared with the county. Because, obviously the county's gonna have to figure out how to invest and deploy all that DR money. And if they're reminded what a need affordable housing is, then hopefully they'll do the right thing and
Is the city getting DR money too, but separate from the
deploy.
county?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm like,
Well, now that Commissioner Moran's not there, we might not have such an uphill battle. Hey, I don't care, I'll say it publicly.
I'm not disagreeing.
I'm not ashamed.
Nobody's disagreeing.
Hey, I know.
We make a motion to agree.
All those who think I'm out of line, tell me now.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay. New business, resident interest ad hoc committee meeting versus resident lead, resident meeting via Zoom.
Yeah, so that's meant to be resident led. So,
Resident led, I apologize.
so this is up to the board, but when it's a board committee meeting, obviously there are rules and formalities that we follow for all of our meetings. And, one option that Valerie and I have discussed is having just a meeting between the housing authority and the resident council and resident representatives. That would be less formal. Board members would be invited to attend, but it wouldn't be a board meeting. And residents who couldn't be here in person could participate via Zoom, and it wouldn't necessarily be limited to 3 minutes. So just more of an informal meeting with Housing Authority staff and the resident council to get their feedback on stuff at the properties, and not have it be, like I said, a formal ad hoc board committee. So there may be pros and cons to both of them, but
I mean, I think it depends on the purpose of the meeting. I mean,
Madam Chair, just for a point of clarification,
Yes.
I won't interrupt the discussion, but if we are going to say that commissioners can attend, we need to notice it in the abundance of all caution.
oh yeah.
And if they do attend, we have to follow the formalities of at least taking minutes.
Of what?
Go ahead.
taking minutes,
Oh, yeah.
sunshine. Or,
Well, this is gonna be an official meeting, isn't it? An official ad hoc committee?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if commissioners are going to attend.
Yeah.
We need to treat it with that little bit of formality.
No, what I'm saying is in lieu of an ad hoc board committee meeting.
Oh, okay.
It would be an informal meeting between Housing Authority and the residents.
So this is an informal meeting,
It would be more.
when commissioners will attend.
It
so
would be
will
more
noticed.
informal, and if commissioners wanted to attend, they could. They would be invited to attend. And we'd have to, as Rick said, we'd publicly notice it if more than one commissioner is coming. We would do it anyway in case there are 2 or more.
I think it should be noticed anyway.
But the key would be clarification, resident led, that the resident meeting would be more involvement of the resident council leadership in leading the meeting.
Yeah.
And bringing to the board or bringing to the meeting discussions about issues that they're concerned about. So I think that's the reason.
I think we can lay out kind of the ground rules and the format. We've had it before, but there's places where the Housing Authority, has a place on the agenda to update the residents about stuff. Resident Services generally has an update, and then we ask for representatives of the different properties to present. We invite the manager of Janie's Gardens to come and present and stuff, and it's just, I think we might get better participation if people are able to zoom in.
sure.
And so that's kind of the thought.
I mean, yeah, you just got to make sure there's rules behind it, because the last thing you want is 30 people talking at once on Zoom with their kids in the background.
Yeah, being a 5-hour meeting, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna have limitations.
Yeah, you gotta have some time
That's the
limits,
thing.
please. If you don't have time limits, should be people up there
Yeah,
talking.
you just got to make sure it's you got to have a moderator and have a
We
moderator.
always did before. Never had.
Yeah, we didn't really have.
Never had a problem.
It seems like a good
Yeah.
meeting to have.
I
especially
mean,
with the other-
Valerie, they usually lasted what, an hour,
Yeah.
hour and a half
That's
most.
fine.
That's good. Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
Notice it.
I think it's a good idea. So would you need a motion?
All right.
One motion?
I'll wait
Just-
until I'm invited.
Just that the board agrees to do this in lieu of the ad hoc committee meetings for resident interest.
Okay, who wants to bring the motion?
I make a motion that we have the resident advisory committee meeting in lieu of is that right? In lieu of the ad hoc committee meeting.
Don't call it a committee. Let's not call it a committee meeting.
Yes, that
Phrase it
committee
anyway.
is just-
Resident-led resident meeting is what it states on it.
A resident-led resident meeting
That's what it says on it.
works for me.
Second? Who
A
second?
second?
You second?
Okay.
I hadn't said it,
You
but
said
it's fine.
second,
Oh.
okay. Okay, anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Okay, we moving on to federal funds.
Yeah, so
It's always fun.
everyone probably knows that I think Sunday night OMB issued a notice saying that they were going to put a pause on federal grants and loans and federal financial assistance. And so we were pretty worried, and I know your agency was too. A lot of people were really worried. As the day went on, I talked to a couple of very knowledgeable people in Washington who, one of them said, your funding is through a contract with HUD, and if they, were to freeze this funding, you would have cause for action.
Correct.
So this does not apply to you. And it sounded great, and I did take some comfort in that, but it wasn't coming from HUD. And then a consultant who works with our state association said that tenant-based Section 8 and project-based rental assistance, which is what we have for these two buildings, that they had been exempted during the day and discussions with OMB, I guess. But again, in Section 9, which is public housing, was still frozen. We were blocked. So our trade association yesterday morning said, draw down the money as you can today, because it was supposed to go into effect at 5 p.m. Yesterday. So we tried to go in. Locke said, you're not doing this during normal business hours. Come back at noon. We came back at noon. It was still locked out. Apparently states were locked out of their funding mechanisms with the federal government as well. And then, I don't know, maybe 5:30 or so, we finally got an email from Dominic Blum, who's the General Deputy Assistant Secretary for PIH, saying that Section 8 housing choice voucher had been exempted, but public housing was not. And then, of course, I don't know, maybe an hour later, there was a federal judge that put a pause to the pause. So both sides.
Trump the pause.
So both sides could file a brief, I guess, by Monday, and then today the White House withdrew the notice. So.
Sort of is what they said, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
They realized they caused.
I've never, I was genuinely really concerned. I've never had a day like that where, we put out about 4.2 million a month to the landlords, and we were not going to be able to cover that. So, of course I was worried that landlords were going to start, terminating leases and kicking people out and, at the very least freaking out and screaming at us. So hopefully, calmer heads prevail. And I did read that Head First was, this was before the whole notice was rescinded, but that Head Start had been exempted too, so that was good.
So, just for two things, I know, I've spoken with you, but, if something like this does happen and funding was froze, I want to see, I think there's two things. One, I want to make sure if we're sending out something to the landlords, knowing that it's not us, and letting everybody know why, and have them call their representatives and blow up their phones, because it's nothing we've done, right? Like, we're here doing what we're supposed to do, and so our representatives, when their phones blow up, I think things can move a little bit, and making sure those letters and notices have their information on it. The second is, we have to go back a little while ago, but during sequestration, we had to actually go through our policy, and we were deciding, that literally who we're going to be kicking off the program. And I don't know if Dwayne and John would have still been on the board, but it was a long conversation, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's one of those things, you know, to be aware of and think of. And like I've already told John, and unfortunately our developer's not on here, but you know, like, you know, it might be something that we might want to start thinking about, you know, if they start cutting some of our funds, you know, whether it be for Section 8 and what that might look like. And, you know, like I asked William, when I want our developer, like, is it just 5% across everybody across the board? What would that look like for our properties? And have him pull financial projections, you know, like deferring, like their deferred fees, like get reduced, like, or do we, but there's so many ways that we can go about this. But I think, you know, unfortunately, you know, yesterday kind of made me like, oh my gosh, this is insane, and this is an actual real discussion we might have to have again.
Makes sense to like have an emergency action plan or something.
Yeah, that's kind of my point is like,
Yeah.
you know, so if it does happen, we're not sitting here going,
What do we do now?
what do we do now? And we're already kind of ready, and, you know.
So speaking of that, the HUD appropriation bill that is completed in the House has an 88% proration for Section 8 renewals. So that would be very uncomfortable. The Senate bill is at 97.5. So even with that, there would be some, we wouldn't have to terminate anybody, but we would be housing fewer people over the course of the year. So when people come off the program, we wouldn't be reissuing all of those vouchers, because the per unit cost has been going up too. So, so I just want to let everybody know that. You know, I don't know where it's going to shake out. Senator Collins from Maine is the chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee, and she's been very bullish on HUD programs. So
You'll never get her to turn those down. She's from Maine.
So, so I feel good about that. But you know, the House number is pretty low. So
There you go.
Is there being a change in administration for HUD?
yes,
Do you know?
Scott Turner is the president's nominee. He did have a hearing, a confirmation hearing. It went smoothly.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll have no problem getting confirmed. He, former professional football player. He was a member of Congress from Texas. He's a pastor at a big church in Dallas, I believe, and has been working for one of Trump's policy think tanks, I think. But in the first Trump administration, he handled opportunity zones in the White House. So
In other words, he has experience.
he's not new to urban
That's good.
redevelopment, revitalization.
That sounds well.
He did talk about he was in favor of work requirements. So I don't know where that's going to go.
They've been fighting that one for the last 40 years.
But
Legislation.
I'm trying to be nice.
yeah, he would definitely need legislation for that. So
They always have them until a certain senator from Massachusetts changed everything.
Okay, are we good with that? Okay, we move on to program updates by consent, A through H.
So moved.
Move,
Second.
there's a second, and anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I just want to stipulate that we didn't get a redevelopment report from Fortis and.
yeah, we did.
Did we get one? Okay.
okay, announcements? Vice Chair?
I just want to put on the record that I thought after the hurricane, we should get a public adjuster to go through all our properties and see if there was any damage that we could collect from the insurance company for to do upgrades, particularly here in McAllen and the annex,
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Muir.
Nothing here.
Okay, Commissioner Mason.
I have a question for William. When do we, Janie's Gardens, when, I have two questions. When does the first phase come back to the housing authority?
It already did.
It already did. Okay, then my second question is, the MLK portion,
Phase 2. Mm-hmm.
the commercial
Yeah.
portion. Ms. Williams is in the audience and has spoken to me about trying to get a lease. Why is it so difficult? And you, because you didn't know I was gonna ask you that, you don't have to give me an answer now, but I would like an answer about, and I think the board should hear, because here is a businesswoman trying to lease in the community, and she's having a whole lot of difficulty, and so that is a huge interest to me, and I'm sure to this board. So if you could look into that.
I will.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, I know, Jamie, who works for Michael's management, she's a residential manager, so she's not like a commercial, real estate person. So I know that they've used a number of commercial brokers over the years to try to, get Janie's leased out. So I know that they are, relying upon or leaning on a commercial broker to lease that out. So, but I will look into that and figure out, is this, do we have to use this type of a lease, or is it,
That's a legal question.
I don't care what kind of
No, but
question.
what I'm saying is, why would we use a commercial real estate broker to lease something where we already have a tenant? We have somebody who wants to lease the property.
Yeah, but she's not a current.
Okay.
Commercial tenant.
Go to our attorneys and have them draw up a proper lease.
But let's let
John, we're not in control of the marketplace right now. Michael's is in control of that.
Michael's who?
Mike.
I thought you said it came back to us.
Phase 1.
Phase 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's
thought we were
phase
dealing
two.
with, okay, that's different.
Phase 2 will be like a year from now.
Good.
Okay. And they're gonna do all the deferred maintenance that they haven't been doing?
Oh yeah.
Good.
rock to the rock.
Hey, that's, I'm looking out for tenants, for our residents.
That's what I'm doing.
But I will look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Finger.
Nothing.
Okay. Commissioner Rowan? Commissioner Morgan?
No, I think I gave my thoughts on the O&B update.
Okay, next meeting will be February 19th, Wednesday, and that's the third week of the month. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay, now,
Yeah, phase 2.
okay.
Okay, beat the dead horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Close this one out.